Alright student, girls and boys, welcome back. A very warm welcome and good evening to Data Analytics Bootcamp. We are at day 13. Alright, hoping you all are happily back from the weekend and festival time around. Let's cherish coding. Okay. As we always begin, let's have a quick recap of what we have learned in the last class. In fact, we have started with a greater milestone, that is object-oriented programming, that mainly deals with classes and objects. Am I right? The object in object-oriented programming were those copies which we create from the design called as a class. Okay. Once designed the class, we can create any number of objects of it. The classes are built, or the classes are made up of properties and methods. Okay, the properties are the characteristics, methods are the functions. Alright, fine. Okay, just to keep a revision in front of you, let me design a small class and create an object of it so that we can conclude today or continue with the second part of object-oriented programming, that is inheritance, which is more interesting as compared to other programming concepts. Fine. So here we go. Alright, my Jupyter notebook is open in front of you. Let me create a class called as person. Okay, person. Say the class has a constructor. Let me know if you have forgotten the concept of constructor. I'll repeat the explanation for you one more time. Okay. Self is the first parameter or argument we pass to the constructor. Correct? Let us say it receives two arguments, A and B. Let's say A is name. Name. Say incoming argument A we have assigned to name. And another property this class has is age. So whatever is the incoming value in B, we are assigning to property age. Correct? So person is a class with two properties, name of the person and age of the person. Let me create one method of the class person, that is display. Okay. Every function in the class will have first argument as self. Just to revise the concept of self, self is a pointer who points at the currently calling object. Correct? Self. What it will do? The name is name and the age is self.age. Okay, just to save our time, I'm just writing like this. Print your name, print your age. That's all about the class, making of the class. Now let's create an object of this class, say person1, p1. Object of class person. But since the constructor of this class accepts two arguments, we can create object only by passing two arguments. Alright? Otherwise there will be argument mismatch. Right? Fine. So say name is John. John being a string, we put it in quotes. And age of John is say 30. P2 is also a person class object. So the second person is Wilson. And his age is say 35. Alright, fine. What if I want to display the two persons' name and their ages? So let me say p1.display and p2.display. Correct. Fine. So this is a class and these are the objects of the class, that is p1 and p2. Objects will automatically inherit all the properties and functions of the class, a very commonly spoken point so far now. Correct. Okay, I run this code. Fine, so this is a simple output in front of you, John 30 and Wilson 35. Is that very clear to you? Fine. Okay, before I could go ahead from here, any specific question with respect to classes and objects that you would like to ask? Any specific question with respect to constructor that you would like to ask? This init function, that's a constructor. Or any specific query with respect to self argument that you want to ask? Make sure the 6 terms are clear to you. 5-6 terms: classes, object, property, method, constructor and self argument. आपको ये 6 बातें समझने आ गई तो ही हम आगे बढ़ेंगे. If not, then let me know in the chat box. Alright, fine. ठीक है, shall be waiting for your reply in the chat as there is some sort of voice lagging here. No issues, let's go ahead. Friends, object-oriented programming has one more perspective called as inheritance. Okay, now as we have already discussed the concept of inheritance in the last class, today we will be going in it in a little more broader way, more deeper, more broader. Okay, inheritance is nothing but a person inheriting or carrying the properties of someone else's. As I told you that day, as a daughter, I inherit everything or most of the things that my parents have. Alright, so this home belongs to my father. I say it belongs to me. That means I will automatically inherit it. Alright, maybe for my father, this home belonged to his own father. That's my grandfather. So that's our ancestral property. And generations after generations are inheriting the property. Is it right? My four grandfather. Alright, then grandfather. Then my father. Then me and maybe my son. Right, so this has been our very old age and or an ancestral property जो हम पूरी generation after generation पीढ़ी की पीढ़ी इसे inherit करती आई, वारिसदार हम रहते गए. So that is inheritance. Alright, now sometime what happens, there is slight difference between two designs. Alright, so there is a class called as a square and there is a class called as a rectangle. Both of them are shape. Is it right? With a slight difference, square is a shape with all the 4 sides same, but rectangle is a shape with only 2 sides same. That's length and breadth. Alright, so we can create one class called as a shape, wherein class square and class rectangle will of course take the properties of shape and will have its own additional property. Are you understanding? Take another example. So there is a class vehicle, gadi, vehicle. Now we know something that is common between all the vehicle that is been driven in the world. Every vehicle has a speed. Every vehicle gives us some mileage. Is it right? And every vehicle might be having some fuel capacity. Is that clear? Every vehicle might be having some seating capacity. Right? Other than these 3-4 common properties that each vehicle has, suppose if the vehicle is car, maybe the categories between SUV, XUV, these property belong only to the vehicle that is car. Buses are not SUV. Auto rickshaws are not SUV. Are you understanding? Take sports car. Take sports car. So sports car can only be of the type car. Right? We don't have anything called as a sports bus or a sport train or something like that. Fine. So one class will have majority of the things that other classes require in common. ध्यान से सुनिए बात. एक डिजाइन में हम वो सारी कॉमन चीजें रखते हैं. Take the same example, vehicle. Every vehicle has some speed limit. Every vehicle gives some mileage. Every vehicle will have some maybe a fuel tank limit or the fuel that can be filled into it. Every vehicle will have a seating capacity. Say auto rickshaw has a seating capacity of 3. Maybe car has a seating capacity of 4 or 6 or 10 seater car, for example. A bus has a seating capacity of 40, 50, 60. So these are the certain things that is common between all the vehicles. ये तो भाई हर व्हीकल के बीच में कॉमन है. सब व्हीकल का अपना माइलेज होता है, सबकी अपनी अपनी कैपेसिटी होती है. But there is something different with respect to car. There is something different when it comes to a bus, a double decker. But double decker can be built only of the vehicle which is a bus. A car cannot be a double decker. Understood? Maybe it's a sunroof. So sunroof is a property which can be assigned only to car. A motorcycle cannot be assigned a property called as a sunroof. I hope you're getting my point. I'm talking about the bike. Alright, maybe a train cannot be provided, being a vehicle, train cannot be given that property which is called as a sunroof. Alright, so something which is common build, that will go in one simple, one common design or one class. हाँ, उसको छोड़ के additionally what other classes want, those properties they have to define on their own. Hoping you are understanding. Is that clear? Fine. This is the reason why we implement the concept of inheritance. The properties which will be common, that will be defined in the common class. There will be certain other classes who will be inheriting the common class. बात समझ रहे हो? ऐसी और classes होंगी या आएगी जो कॉमन क्लास को तो इनहेरिट करेंगी ही, उनकी प्रॉपर्टीज लेते हुए अपनी खुद की भी प्रॉपर्टीज डिफाइन करेंगी. सो दैट इज कॉल्ड एज इनहेरिटेंस. Alright, fine. Taking the properties or deriving the properties of the parent class, or one class taking or using the properties of other class, that is called as inheritance. Alright, now there are many ways in which inheritance can be coded. But before that, I would like someone to please acknowledge in the chat box these examples of vehicle and others which I was talking about. Is that clear to you? No? Would be of great help if you could write in the comment section or a chat box here. Still not? Okay, she'll be waiting for a couple of more seconds. Okay, moving ahead from here. Alright, okay. This is our presentation for the day today. The first type of inheritance in Python is called as a single inheritance. Alright, focus on the diagram more because today picture speaks louder than definition. What do you mean by single and inheritance? Where one derived class, when I say child class means it's a derived class. When one derived class is created from one base class. There is one parent class and there is one child class. That's it. It's a simple relationship. Okay? एक master class है जिसको हम parent class बोलते हैं या base class बोलेंगे. उसी से derive होकर एक child class बनती है. That's called as a single inheritance. Then comes multiple inheritance. Check, the diagram speaks a lot again. Okay, the diagram speaks a lot again. That means there is exactly one child class, but which is derived from not one but two different parent classes. Two different parent classes. I'll give you example in terms of coding. Till then only focus on the picture. Okay. Then comes multi-level inheritance, where there is a chain of this relationship, like child class 1 which is derived from parent class and child class 2 which is derived from child class 1. Means the direct parent of child class 2 is child class 1 and indirect parent is parent class. Like this, my friend, like this. C is derived from B but B is derived from A. Of course, according to algebraic rule of transitivity, that means C is also derived from A. Everything that A has, C will automatically get it. Are you understanding? Fine. So C is derived from B, or even if you want, you can start from D. D is derived from C. C is derived from B, and B is derived from A. So indirectly, this is a chain of classes connected one after another. So the one who is at the bottom most of the hierarchy, जो सबसे नीचे है, bottom most, will definitely inherit all the properties of above parent classes via. Check the diagram. In multiple inheritance, this child class directly inherited the property of both the parent class. But here, the child class is inheriting property. Say child class 2 is inheriting parent via child class 1. We understand via, right? Through. Alright. There is one more, but that part we'll discuss in the end. It's not of that importance. So let's consider three types of inheritance first: single, multiple, and then multi-level. Okay, let me see if there's any question in the chat box. Vivek, thank you Vivek for a response. Alright, here we go. Check it out. How does it look? Okay, fine. So let's say this is a class called as person. Okay, this is a class called as person. I create one more class here. Say person can be, who is a person? What is my identity as a person for a college? Maybe I am a teacher. What is your identity as a person to the college? You are a student. We both have our name. आप student हो, हम teacher हैं. We both have these two properties. We both have our names. We both have our age. But there are certain things or certain properties that only student will have and certain properties that teacher will have. Say salary. Students don't have salary as a feature. Roll number. Teachers don't have roll number as a feature. Marks. Student have marks. Teachers don't have marks as a feature. Hoping you are understanding. Okay. Qualification. So what's a qualification? So how much is a teacher qualified? So qualification may not be the property of the student. Alright, तो person देखने के लिए तो फिर बहुत सारे examples as a person. So let's create a class student. First time we are writing bracket after the class name. Understood? Class के नाम के बाद में bracket तब लिखा जाता है if the class is derived from some super class. Right? How we'll write this? Student. It is derived from person. Understood? Class student. और इस class को derive किया गया है from person. Why do we say derive? So that we don't repeat. We don't repeat name and age वाला part again in student. We'll take it from person. Alright? Check it out how. Say this is the constructor of student. Self. A, B, C. Student will also have a name, student will have age, and student will have roll number. So A is name, B is age, and C is a roll number. Are you getting it? Right? Now, ideally what do we do here? Tell me. Name is equals to A, self dot age is equals to B, self dot say roll number is equals to C. But why to repeat these two lines of code again? This is my question here. Forget about everything. पीछे कुछ नहीं भी समझा तो भी जाने दो. ये जो highlighted part है वो देखिए. Why to repeat these two lines of code again? This is been already done by the parent class, right? So let us reuse that code because we are already inheriting that class, correct? हम तो उसको already inherit कर रहे हैं. एक बार आप उसको इनहेरिट कर रहे हो मतलब उसका कंस्ट्रक्टर भी आपका, उसकी प्रॉपर्टी भी आपकी, उसके मेथड भी आपके. इट्स अ ग्रीन सिग्नल, यू कैन यूज देम एनीवेयर. Alright, so what we will do inside the constructor of class student, we will first call the constructor of person to do this task of assignment. Right? ये काम ऊपर person का constructor कर रहा है ना. देखिए जो code that I am highlighting. Self dot name is equals to A. अंदर आने वाला B should be assigned to self dot age. अरे बट ये काम person class का constructor already कर रहा है. तो derive class या child class के constructor को दोबारा नहीं करने पड़ना चाहिए. How do we do that? Correct. So in that case, I delete these two lines. And how to call the constructor of class person? Say person dot name of the constructor init, and we all know first argument is self, and to this init we will pass A and B which student has received. Understood? First student class, look the hierarchy देखिए people कैसे नीचे जा रहा है वो. स्टूडेंट क्लास के कंस्ट्रक्टर ने A, B, C में से जो A और B रिसीव किया उसको वो पहले पेरेंट क्लास के कंस्ट्रक्टर को देगा. like this, self comma a p. C नहीं भेजेगा क्योंकि C भेजा तो एरर आएगा. पेरेंट क्लास का कंस्ट्रक्टर 2 ही आर्ग्यूमेंट मांगता है, तो हमने उसके 2 आर्ग्यूमेंट उसे भेज दिया जो हमें खुद अपने कंस्ट्रक्टर में मिला. राइट, उसके साथ क्या करना है वो ऊपर उसका डेफिनेशन जाने. दैट्स नॉट आवर लुकअप. राइट, सो फ्रॉम कंट्रोल फ्रॉम हियर विल गो डायरेक्टली टू हियर. राइट, बिकॉज दिस इज अ फंक्शन कॉल टू द कंस्ट्रक्टर. करेक्ट, यहां से कॉल जाएगा पर्सन क्लास के कंस्ट्रक्टर को. पर्सन क्लास का कंस्ट्रक्टर का काम क्या है? टू डू असाइनिंग. हमारे टू डू द असाइनमेंट ऑफ ए एंड बी टू नेम एंड एज और एनी इनकमिंग वैल्यूज टू नेम एंड एज. हाँ, व्हाट पर्सन क्लास का कंस्ट्रक्टर कुड नॉट डू, जो वो नहीं कर सका, दैट इज रोल नंबर का असाइनमेंट. ओनली दैट एक्स्ट्रा वर्क द डिराइव क्लास विल डू. Are you understanding? So there is one more argument here called as D. Check it out. Where did I add D? Say D is to accept the marks of the student. No, but person class ka constructor is not to accept the marks. Na? Every person will not have marks. Am I right? Student is a person, teacher is a person, customer is a person, employee is a person, salesman is a person. Am I right? So there are so many people with different dignity who are person. हर एक का मार्क्स थोड़ी होगा. खाली यही क्लास एक चौथा आर्ग्यूमेंट एक्सेप्ट करता है, डी विच इज मार्क्स. आप डायरेक्ट मार्क्स लिखोगे तो भी चलेगा. ABCD is my choice to name them. Got it? Right? So for in that case, additional task of assignment जो आपका पेरेंट क्लास, बेस क्लास या पेरेंट क्लास का कंस्ट्रक्टर नहीं कर सकता है, वो चाइल्ड क्लास में करके आपको बताना पड़ेगा. So self dot marks is equal to D. Is that clear? Right? Similarly, let student also have a function called as display. You want, you can create this function by any other name also. Okay. Self. Correct? Now, how many things student has to print? Name, age, roll number, marks. But why to print name and age again? See, this work is already printing. हेलो फ्रेंड्स, प्रिंटिंग नेम एंड एज ये काम तो ऑलरेडी पर्सन क्लास का डिस्प्ले फंक्शन कर रहा है. करेक्ट, आपका नाम और आपका एज प्रिंट करने वाला काम, अरे वो तो पर्सन क्लास का डिस्प्ले मेथड ऑलरेडी कर रहा है. तो ये कोड हम दोबारा क्यों लिखे? बेटर कॉल द मास्टर क्लास का डिस्प्ले फंक्शन. हाउ टू डू दैट? कम ऑन, यू शुड बी एबल टू राइट द कोड दैट. कैन यू राइट मी इन द चैट बॉक्स? How can I call here the display function of the person class? यहाँ पर कैसे बुलाएंगे? Any idea? No? No? Okay, fine. It would be still better if you could write in the comment section. As of now, not to waste time, I go ahead from there. Okay, so person dot display self. That means call the display from the person class first. पहला person class के display को बुलाओ और वो क्या print करेगा? Name और age. जो नहीं print कर सका वो additional code ही खाली यहाँ लिखना. That is print self dot roll number and self dot marks. Am I right? This is called as a single level inheritance, where there is one main class called as person in this example, and there is one derived class called as student. Student is derived from person. Correct? Fine. Okay. How to create an object now? Come on. How to create an object? Let me create directly object of student. So S1 is equals to student. Remember, when you create object, student class constructor require 4 arguments. The constructor of the student class will need 4 arguments. So, name of the student is say Raj, age is say 20. Okay, and what's next? Roll number. Say his roll number 1, and his marks. Let me consider the total marks scored out of 500 is 350. And if I could say S1 dot display display. Let me run this code. Okay, indentation does not match. Fine, I doubt it. Self display, where it is. Okay, here we go. Okay, that was indentation mismatch. All right, fine. Okay, fine. Ignoring that red color font. Output is here. Raj, 20, 1 and 350. That's a roll number. Are you understanding the concept? That's a signature. Okay, good. Vivek, thank you very much. Person.display. That was actually the correct answer. That is actually the correct answer. Hoping you are understanding. Okay, fine. Anyways, let's go ahead from here. यहाँ से आगे बढ़ते. Now, the next type of inheritance is a multiple inheritance. But before I could go to multiple inheritance, let me show you multi-level inheritance. That's a bit simple to understand. कैसे होता है multi-level में? There's a chain of classes. Class A, class B, class C. So C is made using B and B is made using A. So let's see how to do that. Let's take a new cell from here. Alright. Okay. Let me create a class called as vehicle. Okay, vehicle. This is the constructor of the class vehicle. Self. And instead of A and B here, let me write some names like this. Say every vehicle has some maximum speed that it can drive with. Every vehicle might have some mileage. Okay, so self dot speed is equals to speed. Self dot mileage is equal to mileage. What if I want to print them? So let me say def display. Correct? Okay. Print self dot speed, self dot mileage. Alright, done. Now let's say there is a class called as a car, but car is derived from vehicle because car is also a vehicle. Alright, car is also a vehicle. Say one additional property that a car has is, let's call it as a sunroof top. Okay, sunroof top. So this is a constructor of car. Init self, let me say speed of the car, mileage that a car has got to offer, and say sunroof, which will accept either yes or no. Okay, sunroof, if there is a sunroof supported, yes, otherwise no. Right, so let me say like this, self dot speed. But why should I assign speed and mileage again? So to do the assignment of speed and mileage to its respective property, let us call the constructor of class vehicle. देखिए ये दो लाइन ऑफ कोड तो ऑलरेडी ऊपर पेरेंट क्लास में लिखा हुआ है ना, तो पेरेंट क्लास के कंस्ट्रक्टर को नीचे बुलाओ. आप तो खुद उसको डिराइव कर रहे हो. That's inheritance. You have derived its constructor. This class is derived from the other one. That's called as derivation, right? हमने इसको उससे derive किया. Is it right? हमने इस फॉर्म को उस फॉर्म से derive किया, for example. Alright. So what can I do in that case? Say vehicle dot init. Okay. Self, speed and mileage. But this constructor can only assign speed and mileage. It can't assign sunroof. So what can I do is then self dot additional property of car, sunroof, is equals to sunroof. Alright, but then say, okay, let me create a display function also here. Def display. Okay, What to display? Speed of the car, mileage of the car, and whether it is sunroof supported, yes or no. That will be the property, or yes no will be the only answer in it. Okay, so to display speed and mileage has been already displayed by the class above. Am I right? Speed और mileage तो parent class या base class already display कर चुका है. So why should we write that print again? Simply call the function of vehicle display here in car display. Right? What is additionally left to be displayed? That is sunroof. So we say print self dot sunroof. Alright, now check till here. If I stop coding the program here, so this is a single inheritance where there is one derived class derived from one base class. Am I right? ये हो गया हमारा single inheritance. But multi-level means what? It's chain. Car derived from vehicle. Now there should be one more class for whom parent will be car, not vehicle. Parent will be car. Grandparent will become vehicle. Correct? Child, parent, vehicle उसका grandparent हो जाएगा. Let's just say there is another car called as a sports car. Okay, sports car. Now sports car will definitely be derived from car. Hoping you are understanding. It will be definitely derived from car. So it will have all the properties that car has. Am I right? I repeat, sports car will definitely have all the properties that a car has. Correct? So let me select this. In it, its constructor self. Okay, what additional can I take? So sports car has a speed, sports car has a mileage, sports car will also have a sunroof. Let us take fuel capacity here. Okay, so something as an extraordinary feature of, let's say, fuel capacity. I may not be aware of the different properties or features of a sports car, so let me write it randomly like a fuel capacity. Okay, you can't have a space, you can give underscore. Is that clear? Fine. But why to assign speed, mileage and sunroof? Why to write the 3 lines of code for the assignment of these 3 property? ये काम तो vehicle already कर रहा है. Correct? So we just have to assign the fuel capacity property to its value. How can we do that? So here first call constructor of class car. Am I right? पहला ऊपर वाली क्लास कार के कंस्ट्रक्टर को बुलाओ जो 3 प्रॉपर्टी असाइन करके देगा, स्पीड, माइलेज, सनरूफ. 3 प्रॉपर्टी तुम्हें असाइन करके देगा. राइट? सो हाउ विल डू दैट? सेल्फ स्पीड mileage, sunroof. Now what's left? What is that car class constructor can't do? Is fuel capacity assignment. So let's do that. Self dot fuel fuel underscore capacity, that is equal to fuel capacity. Am I right? And finally let's display this. Display. I write here self, but to display means we have to display the values of 4 properties: speed, mileage, sunroof and fuel capacity, out of which the 3 properties are been already displayed by the display function of car class. So first let's call the method of parent class first to display, right? Because we are already inheriting it, and inheritance allow one class to access the property and methods of other class. Right? I repeat, inheritance allows one class or derived class to access properties and methods of parent class. So let me call here as car.display, call that first. And now car.display will display speed, mileage, sunroof. What about fuel capacity? That we have to print it exclusively. So self.fuel underscore capacity. Is that clear? Right, now this is called as a multi-level inheritance, where there is one class called as, not this one class called as vehicle. Every vehicle will have speed and mileage, so that we don't have to code it again. Car being a vehicle has inherited vehicle, correct? right? But there are certain things that only vehicle car will have, not other vehicle will have. As I told you, say sunroof or rooftop is could not be the property of any other vehicle like a train or maybe the bus or something like that. So only that additional property this car is going to assign and create, right? But then sports car is a kind of car. So of course and obviously whatever car has property, sports car will also have with some other or additionals, correct? Like a fuel capacity or seating capacity or maybe some additional speed or maybe some brand, something like that. Hoping you understand it. Correct. Fine. Now let's see how to create an object. Make sure, mind you, most of the time, this is not a fixed rule, but most of the time in this kind of inheritances, object is created only of that last class. जो लास्ट क्लास होता है चेन में, अक्सर हम उसका ही ऑब्जेक्ट बनाते हैं क्योंकि इट इज गोइंग टू इनडायरेक्टली वाया चेन गोइंग टू यूज ऑल द अबव क्लासेस एज वेल, करेक्ट? So it makes no sense to create an object of class car or object of class vehicle. Instead, directly create object of sports car unless necessary. Right? If a car is not a sports car, it's only a car, then you have to create object of car only. Is that clear? Fine, let me check is there any doubt. Okay. Okay, please put your questions in the chat box in case if it's not clearly understood. Okay? So here we go. Say sports car, SC is the name of the object. It can be any name, ABC also. So sports car is going to accept 4 arguments. Speed say 140 or 240. Okay, I'm writing these values without unit, assuming we understand. Mileage say 100, maybe kilometer per hour or meter per hour or maybe miles per hour, whatever. Sunroof, let's say yes. Okay, I accept it as a string. You want, you could have given it as a boolean as well, like this, true. Okay, true or false, so that could be a boolean data type. Fuel capacity, let me call it as 200 liter. I don't know whether it is irrational or it is possible. This is just to test the data. Correct. Fine. How to display that? So we write sc dot display. Let's run. Oh, cool. I thought there might be some error we need to troubleshoot, but it's really easier to understand. So 240, 100, 2 and then 200. Are you understanding? Fine. Okay, let me copy this code and keep it on the notepad file so that in case if anyone wants, can take a screenshot of it. Okay, copy and paste. Is that clear? This is the code. This is, let me call it as multi-level inheritance. Okay, multi-level inheritance. Okay, is that very clear to all of us? Would be glad if you could acknowledge. Someone, please. If any doubt, let me put your question into the chat box. She'll be glad to reply you back. Okay, let's quickly cover up what's now left as a multiple inheritance. Okay, what is a multiple inheritance? Say there is class A. Okay, here we go. There is class A. Say class A. Okay, or you want me to take it as something that could make sense. If I could take person, if I could take Okay, let's take person. Let's check if it works. Let's take class person. Let's define the constructor of the class. Let's define the constructor of the class. Self. Every person will have name. Every person will have age. Okay. So self.name equals name. Self.age equals age. Let's quickly write a function to print these two properties. So display self. Okay, print self.name, self.age. Is that correct? Okay, let's take another class here called as let's take another class here called as employee. Okay, check one thing, employee is not derived from person. You have to keep a check on that. आपको वो चीज का ध्यान देना होगा. अगर derived होता तो हमने यहाँ पर person लिखा होता in the round bracket. No, but employee itself is another parent class. So in the constructor of employee, we just write something called as salary. So self.salary is equal to salary. Okay, and if I write print, okay, so we write here print self.salary. Alright, because employee is not derived from any other class, we have kept it different. Okay, now say there is a class called as a designation. Okay, there's a designation. Now designation means what? Like a person's designation is a clerk. Like every employee who works in my college is a person. Friends, every employee who work in my college is a person, but some of them are clerk, some of them are office staff, some of them are peons, some of them are teachers, some of them are head of the departments, HODs. Some of them are principals and vice principals, some of them are trustee, am I right? Some of them are dean, some of them are chancellor, or any other post that a college has to give. Am I right? So designation is a combination of person with employee. Alright, so how can we do that? Check it out. We say this class is derived from person, comma, employee. Alright, so there is one derived class which is made from two parent class. Check, person and employee. Two parent class. Alright, so this is what we have put it up here in the diagram as well. आप देखोगे तो मल्टीपल देखिए एक बार, एक चाइल्ड है बट पेरेंट ज्यादा है. ऑलराइट, बिकॉज आपके सामने ऐसा भी सिनेरियो आएगा, सिचुएशन आएगा जहां पर वन चाइल्ड क्लास इज डिराइव्ड फ्रॉम मल्टीपल पेरेंट क्लासेस. ऑलराइट, ठीक है. सो व्हाट कैन वी डू इन दिस केस नाउ? ओके, से def init, let me call it as self, okay, and let me take all the arguments here, name, age, because to define your designation I need your name, I need your age. Name हो गया, age हो गया, salary हो गया, and type of the person. Okay, let me say type of person, because type is a keyword. You see, I use the word type and it shows me in green color, means it's a keyword. If it's a keyword, avoid using that. Sometimes it causes an error, sometimes it works as well. Better avoid it. You know, type is a function we used in a very first day of the bootcamp, which returns the data type of the variable. So type of person. चलिए, ठीक है. अभी आप देखिए नेम और एज का जो असाइनमेंट है वो पर्सन का क्लास का कंस्ट्रक्टर करेगा. दिस इज द पर्सन क्लास कंस्ट्रक्टर. चेक. और सैलरी का जो असाइनमेंट है, इनिशियलाइजेशन असाइनमेंट, दैट विल बी डन बाय द एम्प्लॉय क्लास का कंस्ट्रक्टर. Only type of person designation classes to do. So what can we do then? Let's call first person constructor, person class का constructor by passing the only 2 out of these 4 received arguments, that's name, age, and then employee class constructor, let's call it self comma, what's that, salary, I'm sorry for that. Okay, so employee class constructor will do the assignment of salary, and only type of person, that will be done by designation class constructor. So type of person, alright, or designation you can call it as, simple चलेगा. चलो type of person लिख दिया. Okay. display self. So first I will call person dot display because it will display name and age. Why to write that code again? Then employee dot display, it's going to display the salary. Why to write that code of printing salary again? Here print function is going to print only type of person. Is that clear? Fine. So this is called as multiple inheritance, where one derived class is being derived, or one child class is derived from multiple parent classes. Is that clear? Fine. Okay. So as I told you, most of the time we create object only of the last class. This is not any hard and fast rule, unless necessary, I mentioned already. So say D is equals to designation. Okay, but designation's constructor accepts how many argument? 4. Ignoring self, 4. So let's say name of the employee whose designation is to be mentioned is John. Age. John is of the age 33. Salary, his salary is 35,000. Type of person, he is a teacher. He might be a peon also. He might be any other person of any other designation also. I have written teacher here. So let's say D dot display check. Okay, so John 33, 35,000, and John is a teacher. Let me copy this code somewhere. Let me copy this code. Okay, person, employee, and this way. Control C. Control V. Control V. Alright, and put it in a comment that this is multiple inheritance. Keeping the code open in case if someone want it to be taken a photograph of. Okay, shall try from my end the maximum if I can upload these files in the description box so that it could be helpful to you even for the future. Alright, that's multiple inheritance. Okay, sometime it happens. Okay, let me check any question in the chat box. No. Okay friends, एक बजिया जो होता है हाइब्रिड इनहेरिटेंस. ओके, हाइब्रिड. अभी हाइब्रिड क्या होता है एक बार डायग्राम देख लीजिए. चेक इट आउट. This is hybrid. Okay, where there are many child classes derived from the single parent class. Okay, instead of calling it as hybrid, let us call it as hierarchical. Better term. Okay, so hierarchical inheritance, look, it involves multiple inheritance from the same base class or the parent class. Means parent class एक ही है, but उससे derive होने वाली base classes बहुत सारी है, या derived classes बहुत सारी है. How? Very simple. Let's go to the first example. Here, this is how we started, right? Person and student is a person. Person has name, age, but if person is a student with name and age, he will have roll number and marks also. Correct? But like student, there is a person called as a teacher also. Am I right? So let's create another class. This is class teacher. Teacher is also derived from person. Are you understanding? So you could see, if you could see, student is derived from person. So a different child class, but the same parent class. Parent same. teacher is also derived from person. Right? How will you code that? How will you code? So def, it's a constructor of teacher. This is a constructor of teacher. So say A, B and C. A and B are name and age. Right? Name and age. You see name and age का initialization person class के constructor में already हो रहा है. Correct? Name and age. So what can we do then? What can we do? So C is a salary. How to do that? Correct? So let us call it as self dot person dot init. Correct? Self by passing A comma B, which will be name and age, and only C's initialization will be done by teacher class. So salary is equals to C. Similarly, if I want to print the different things, but if you have remembered, the display function of the person class has already displayed name and age. खाली salary print करना बाकी है, तो पहले उसी के function को बुलाओ. So person dot display, right, followed by self print self dot salary. Correct? Hoping we all are understanding concept clearly. Fine. So you see here, this is called as hierarchical inheritance, where, let me copy this code somewhere. Let me copy this code. Control C, Control V. Okay. Say T1 is equal to teacher. Teacher's name is say Shabda. Okay. Age, suppose I'm randomly entering the data, say 35,000, and salary, let's take 60,000. For an example, this is all junk data. Like that. And then finally T1 dot display, T1 dot display. Correct? So this would be an example of hierarchical inheritance. See, this is a class person. Then student is also derived from person and teacher is also derived from person. So parent एक ही है, अलग-अलग different child classes have been derived from person. Okay, let me put it up as a comment. So this is hierarchical inheritance. Is that clear? All of us. Hierarchical inheritance. Fine. Should be waiting here in case if someone want to click the pic of it. You don't want to wait for me and you want to click the picture of it. You can, of course, then you can always watch back, coming back on the channel and watching it, so that you can go through it again. Alright, fine. Alright guys, fine. Let's have a quick revision of what we have learned today. हमने क्या-क्या सीखा? Okay, we started with revising the concept of classes and objects. Moreover, we then moved ahead for understanding inheritance. 4 types of inheritance we have studied today. 4 types of inheritance: single inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multiple inheritance, and finally hierarchical inheritance. For those of my friends who have joined us late, make sure before you join the next class, आपने ये एक बार वीडियो देख लिया है पूरा. Understood? It's very important to keep clear the concept of inheritance before you could go ahead. Fine. In single inheritance, there is one parent class and there is one child class. Exactly. One-to-one relationship. But in a multi-level inheritance, several derived classes have been derived from one parent class. Or let me say, not one but multiple parent classes. Say C derived from B, B derived from A. Correct? Then there is a multiple inheritance. In multiple inheritance, one child class is derived from many parent classes. We give comma while writing the parent classes names in the bracket, right? Like a designation was derived from person also and employee also, correct? And then finally hierarchical, where there are different child classes derived from a single parent class. Alright, would be glad if you could write in the chat box, is the things clear to you? Do you have any doubt to ask? Because the next topic will be access specifier, that is public, private and protected. Access specifier रहेगा. Fine. Anyways, if you really find our work amazing or helpful, you are benefiting out of it, then please give us likes. Please subscribe to our channels as well. Please let other be informed about this education that is being imparted absolutely free of cost. Okay, let more and more people be invited. As a word of your mouth, would be glad to know that. Okay, fine. Goodbye. Take care and happy Holi to everyone in advance. Shall see you back next time. Okay, take care. Please do like, guys. Please do like the video if you are really benefiting out of it. Thank you. Goodbye. Take care.